Hello, everyone, and welcome to our live coverage of Starlink 15-9 mission launch from West Coast, that is from the Pad Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. If it's your first time here, hi, my name is Dipto Maitra, performing the commentary for today's mission launch, and you are watching Astro Yonder live.
Roger, 0G, and I feel fine. Capsule is turning around.
Houston, we see a nominal MECO. Welcome to space.
Hope you all are doing fine and excited for the upcoming Starlink launch. But one thing is certain, that the excitement for SpaceX's next Axiom 4 mission is through the roof. But now we are about to have the Starlink mission for today. So for that, we are super excited bringing you the coverage of SpaceX's 502nd overall launch and the 74th Falcon 9 launch of this year. Today's launch marks the 26th one from Vandenberg for SpaceX as they continue building their incredible launch cadence for the year. SpaceX recently hit a huge milestone with the June 12th Starlink launch from Vandenberg, marking their 500th successful mission. And just a day later, with the June 13th Cape Canaveral launch for the Starlink, they completed the first generation of their direct-to-cell constellation. So that's a back-to-back my historic moments for the agency. That's wild, but honestly, I was hoping that their 500th launch will be the Axiom 4, a human space flight mission. That would have made it even more special, although it's completely my personal opinion and preference. Everyone's buzzing with the excitement for SpaceX's Axiom 4 mission, but to be honest, it's a bit getting restless, as at least this is how I feel personally with the repeated postponements of the Axiom 4 launch. That's 5 times the launch got delayed as of now. But it's true, better safe than sorry, especially when it comes to a human spaceflight mission. Now, in a recent update, NASA and SpaceX have tentatively scheduled the launch of Axiom Space's AX4 mission to the International Space Station for June 19th, 2025 at 4:53 a.m. Eastern Daytime. And we know the mission had been delayed due to a liquid oxygen leak in the Falcon 9 booster and pressure fluctuations in the International Space Station's Russian module. Although repairs have been made and the current pressure reading suggests that the issue may be resolved, though monitoring is required and is being continued. Now, SpaceX also has completed a successful wet dress rehearsal of the Falcon 9 rocket, confirming its readiness for the liftoff. So the only thing left now is the official launch date confirmation from NASA and SpaceX. Now, just a reminder, for today's launch, I'm saying we have had launches for Starlink Group 11, 12, and 13, but Group 14 was skipped entirely as SpaceX jumped straight to Group 15, which already had 6 launches before today's one. The same goes for the Group 17, with Group 16 being skipped altogether. We are currently standing by for a Falcon 9 liftoff at 8:36 p.m. Pacific Time, 11:36 p.m. Eastern Time from California, heading on a southeast trajectory for the Starlink Group 15-9 mission, carrying a batch of 26 Starlink satellites to low Earth orbit. Now, before we ignite the engines on today's mission details, a big thanks to all of you from Astro Yonder team along with our incredible moderators, for joining us on this launch ride. We are truly fueled by your presence and support that inspires us to get to work more hard and to meet your expectations. A big thanks to our amazing YouTube community for the encouragement that keeps our mission flying, as well as a heartfelt gratitude for helping us to bring you deep dive launch coverages loaded with all the stats and insights. We are truly grateful to have you on board as we continue to the liftoff together. Also, would really appreciate if you guys could join the chat and let us know from where you are joining from. Feel free to share any questions, any suggestions, or opinion with us so that we can improve our stream. Also, don't share any personal opinion as you have along as we move ahead with the stream. Please don't be shy, just bring them on. And another just a reminder that it's just me only managing the launch coverages on my own. So if we face any technical issues by chance, please bear with me and be tuned in. I will do my best to guide you through the Falcon 9 rocket launch happening in approximately 37 minutes from now. SpaceX is currently targeting a liftoff time of the Falcon 9 from Vandenberg Space Force Base at 8:36 p.m. Pacific Time, 11:36 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday, June 16th of 2025. Today we have just 31 minutes of launch window before it closes out at 9:07 p.m. Pacific Time, 12:07 a.m. Eastern Time on June 17th for the Eastern Time. Now let's get into today's mission details. As we don't receive the launch weather forecast for Vandenberg flights from 45th Weather Squadron, but the reports suggest so far that the weather is looking good for today's Falcon 9 launch opportunity and the range is ready to support. Weather officials keeping a keen eye on the weather for any probability of launch weather constraint violations, and the forecast calls for a temperature of 16 degrees Celsius, few clouds with 12% cloud cover and a wind speed of 15 miles per hour. Now let's take a look at today's payload details, but before that let me just have the stream. Okay, fine. So now before discussing about the payload details, just a reminder, today's payload does not include any direct-to-cell satellites, but it does consist of the newer optimized Starlink version 2 mini satellites. Today's launch is the 55th dedicated Starlink mission of the year. Before this launch, SpaceX had already sent up 1,317 Starlink satellites in 2025 alone, surpassing the 1,000 mark for this year. And with this launch, the count jumps to 1,343. And if we include the 22 version 3 variant launched, those Starlink simulator ones on previous 3 Starship flights this year, the count rises more with a total of 1,365 Starlinks launched this year alone. The overall Starlink count is about to hit 9,000 as SpaceX continues launching more satellites, and we must admit that's really a spectacular pace SpaceX is maintaining. The Starlink satellites are built in Redmond, Washington. Today's payload consists of 26 Starlink version 2 mini optimized satellites. Each of these satellites having 5 advanced Ku band phased array antennas, three dual-band parabolic antennas using Ka and E bands, and a dual solar array that spreads out to about 100 feet wide with a total surface area of 52.5 square meters. Also, not to forget, these two solar arrays are aeroneutral, which enable faster on-orbit maneuvers, and each satellite is equipped with a high-capacity battery to provide power to the payloads. Each Starlink satellite features three space laser transponders, also known as optical intersatellite links, for intercommunication, operating at speeds up to 200 Gbps. And these Starlink satellites make use of argon fuel Hall effect thrusters for in-orbit maneuvering, previously which was Krypton based, and this switch was mainly due to the cost effectiveness argon provides compared to Krypton. Today's payload will be deployed in an orbit with an altitude of approximately 265 kilometers with an inclination of 70 degrees. But the operational orbit will be an altitude of about 535 kilometers with the same inclination, that is of 70 degrees. Well, although it's not at all connected with the NRO satellites, but just a fun fact, most of the proliferated architecture, that is the NRO satellites, are having the same inclination of around 70 degrees. It's just for your quick knowledge. Each optimized version 2 mini weighs approximately 1,268 pounds, or which is equivalent to 575 kilograms, which is about 22% lighter than the original version 2 mini design. Now, just for the context, each of the unoptimized version weighs around 1,763 pounds, which is equivalent to 800 kilograms. Starlink satellite uses custom-built star tracker to find their position, altitude, and orientation for optimal broadband throughput. And additionally, they have an onboard autonomous collision avoidance system that uses the US Department of Defense debris tracking database for avoiding collisions with space junk, other spacecraft, and other Starlink satellites as well, all autonomously. Now, to understand the significance of an autonomous collision avoidance system, here is a quick context. According to a SpaceX report published last year, Starlink satellite performs 275 collision avoidance maneuvers each day. And in that course of past 6 months, when this report got published, Starlink satellite performed 50,000 collision avoidance maneuvers. So guess that these figures can make you understand the importance of an autonomous collision avoidance system. Now let's know about the optimizations made for the Starlink version 2 mini satellites, and with that, how SpaceX is leveling up with the number of satellites on their each launch. So firstly, the key optimization is a 22% weight reduction, bringing each satellite's launch mass to approximately 575 kilograms compared to the original version 2 mini's 800 kilograms. So that's just a single satellite weight reduction I mentioned. If we consider the whole stack, that makes a huge difference. This lighter design achieved through upgraded avionics, propulsion, and power system, which allows more satellites to fit within the Falcon 9's payload fairing capacity. Additional enhancement includes a Doppio dual band antenna for improved bandwidth to be precise, which operates at 96 Gbps per satellite, and mass optimized components tailored for efficient stacking and deployment. So all this optimization allows Falcon 9 to carry up to 29 satellites per mission, around 6 more than the original version 2 mini design. Although we have only one launch for 29 satellites on a mission as of now. Hopefully we will be seeing more of them in near future. Now some quick fun facts. The first launch of the Starlink version 2 mini with 21 satellites took place with the Starlink Group 6-1 mission from Cape Canaveral on February 27 back in 2023. Then with the Starlink 6-39 mission launch again from Cape on February 25 last year, that is 2024, SpaceX increased the number to 24 version 2 minis, the highest count at that time. But starting this year, on January 21st of 2025 with Group 11-8, SpaceX launched 27 optimized version 2 mini satellites for the first time, and that record was soon broken again on March 31st this year, 2025, with the Group 6-80 mission, which carried 28 optimized version 2 minis. But it's SpaceX, they won't stop breaking the records. So with the most recent launch of Starlink Group 6-84 mission on May 4th, SpaceX set a new record with 29 version 2 mini satellites launched, marking the biggest batch of version 2 mini variants so far. Now in comparison, the highest for version 1 is 60 satellites, and for version 1.5 it is 56. With today's launch, it marks the 25th time SpaceX launching its optimized version 2 mini variant, bringing the total to 679 number of satellites. Today, it's the 6th time they are launching a batch of 26 Starlink satellites, the version 2 optimized variant of them. Now, it might make you ask why go with the optimized Starlink versions, and why are we seeing so many of them packed into one launch? Well, SpaceX is launching its optimized version 2 mini Starlink satellites as a strategic move to expand and upgrade its satellite internet network. This satellites acts as a transitional solution until the larger version 3 variants can launch aboard the Starship. This lighter and more advanced version 2 minis offer roughly 4 times the capacity of the earlier versions, allowing more to be launched per mission, as mentioned before, up to 29 at a time, reducing costs and accelerating the deployment process. This helps SpaceX meet the rising global demand, replace aging or deorbited version 1 or the version 1.5 satellites, and to maintain consistent coverage while building towards its authorized Generation 2 constellation of up to 30,000 satellites. Now, for example, back in February 2024 last year, SpaceX announced deorbiting 100 older version 1 satellites due to a potential flaw. And the recent data shows that SpaceX deorbit around 4 to 5 Starlink satellites each day. So it's quite obvious this creates voids in the constellation, which SpaceX addresses by launching the new version 2 mini optimized satellite with increased launch capacity. Now, hopefully that gives you a bit more insight. Well, now let's take a look at the flight record for the booster supporting today's Starlink 15-9 mission. The booster with tail number 1093 supporting today's mission you can say a young booster with only 2 previous flights in its record, including 2 Starlink missions only. No other non-Starlink missions have been supported by the booster so far. Now awaiting its third flight, approximately 24 minutes from now, marking its third mission being supported this year. The last mission supported by today's booster was the Starlink 15-5 on May 16th of this year. The booster's turnaround time as of today is 32 days. And today's mission will be the third consecutive launch of this booster from the Pad Space Launch Complex 4 East and will have its third landing on a drone ship to date. That is on, of course, I Still Love You. Now let's have a look at the bar graph showing the number of Falcon 9 launches each year. Before this upcoming launch, SpaceX completed its 73rd Falcon 9 launch for this year with the Starlink Group 12-26 mission launch from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral on June 13th, 2025, obscuring the number of annual launches made till year 2022. SpaceX is now having 12 more than the launches made in that year. With today's launch of Starlink 15-9 mission on your screen, the bar graph shows 74 number of Falcon 9 launches for 2025. As of now, SpaceX is less than halfway to reach the number of launches made in the year 2023 and 2024. And with today's launch, SpaceX is now 22 behind 2023's total and 58 short of 2024. This year, I guess SpaceX will be targeting for another record-breaking year with around 170 to 180 Falcon 9 launches just itself, apart from upcoming Falcon Heavy launches. Well, that got an indication from a previous tweet from Elon Musk. That's an ambitious target, but let's hope they will pull it off. Now, we have a request for you guys. If this stream fuels your love for space, give this stream a like. It's kind of fine-tuning the trajectory of our mission to build a community with amazing space enthusiasts like you. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification so that you won't miss a single launch update. Here at Astro Yonder, we believe together we will build the ultimate constellation of space enthusiasts, and we would be super grateful for your kind support. Now please allow us a couple of seconds to check whether the launch is on time or not, and to stay updated. Well, it is on time. SpaceX is sticking with their current liftoff time of 8:36 p.m. Pacific time, so no worries. Now about the pre-launch timeline, you can see those pre-launch timeline events on your screen on the left hand side of your screen. So I'm just skipping the pre-launch timeline to describe them, as it's a typical Falcon 9 launch for Starlink with absolutely no alteration or deviation in any of the pre-launch events. However, there's one point, like always, I would like to highlight just for a quick knowledge, and which you might be aware of, that the strong back reclining process at Vandenberg differs from that at Cape Canaveral and Kennedy Space Center. Here at Vandenberg, we recline the strong back 13 degrees away, whereas at Cape Canaveral and Kennedy Space Center, we recline the strong back about 1.5 degrees away from the Falcon 9. So that's the only thing which is different in today's pre-launch schedule, as this is a Vandenberg flight. Now just a reminder, SpaceX is currently targeting a liftoff time of the Falcon 9 from Vandenberg Space Force Base at 8:36 p.m. Pacific Time, 11:36 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday, June 16th of 2025. Now, before moving on, would like to welcome Al Ramirez. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, and if not, please pardon me. My sincere apologies for that. Well, thanks for tuning in, Ramirez, and I hope you are doing fine. Also, would like to welcome and encourage everyone for to show up on the chat and to have a discussion so that we can let to to get to know each other. And Ramirez, I wish you will be enjoying the stream. Once again, thanks for tuning in. Now, let's quickly move ahead and briefly step through the trajectory for today's Starlink mission. Falcon 9 leaving the pad from Space Launch Complex 4 East from Vandenberg Space Force Base with the spacecraft on board. That is a batch of 26 Starlink satellites for a southeast trajectory along the coast of Southern California, heading into a low Earth orbit. That is to the 15th shell of second generation Starlink mega constellation indicated by that green line on your screen. The red line you see indicates where Falcon 9 first stage will land after stage separation just a little later, leaving California's coast. And today, as this is a West Coast flight, of course, I Still Love You is the drone ship supporting today's mission. This will going to be the 138th landing on, of course, I Still Love You drone ship to date, if successful. Now, some recovery specifics for you guys. Well, Ramirez, I wish you will have a good view for today's launch. And I think there is a possibility to have a jelly bean effect for today's launch that I was seeing on X, some stats, sorry, some stats, some information which I gathered. Not the jelly bean effect, it's the twilight effect, which is possible with tonight's launch of Starlink Mission 15-9. And hopefully you will be able to see that effect on in real, and will be glad if you can share that experience on our next stream. Well, you have your camera ready. That's nice, Ramirez. Now, I was going to say about some recovery specifics. The planned booster recovery is approximately 595 kilometers, with estimated fairing recovery approximately 650 kilometers downrange. And the stage 2 debris reentry will be in the South Pacific Ocean on its second orbit. Now on your screen are some of the stats related to drone ship as of today, but it's it's updated. Now currently we know there are 3 in SpaceX's drone ship fleet. Out of the 3, of course, I Still Love You is based here at California, and other 2 just with the instructions and a shortfall of Gravitas are stationed in Florida. We still do anticipate the addition of a 4th drone ship as promised by SpaceX earlier, possibly occurring late this year, or who knows, in early next year, because we are not getting any information regarding that. Well, Ramirez, we have a request for you. If you are on X, I guess the link of our X got posted on the chat section. So if you can join us there, we would be more than happy to see your work taking those pictures. Please ping us on our X account so that we can see your work there, because here you can't post the link of your X account, as we would have access your X account from here only. Now, speaking of the fairing recovery, the two halves of the payload fairing will be recovered slightly farther, approximately 55 kilometers downrange from where the first stage lands on the drone ship. Of course, I still love you after they will smoothly splash down with the guidance of parachutes. SpaceX will utilize a recovery vessel to retrieve them from the Pacific Ocean, as these two halves of the fairing is nearly $60 million, so it's quite obvious that SpaceX aims to recover the fairings for repetitive use. Well, Ramirez, the our X handle link is posted on the chat section. You can see just two chat before your current chat. So if you can join us there, just a single message or a single like, anything, just to have a connection I can have with your account, and would really be more than happy to see your work. For that, I'm asking. Now you can see on your screen how a fairing recovery looks like, although the recovery vessel on your screen is Turk performing the recovery operation, but today's supporting recovery vessel is Go Beyond here at the Pacific. Other recovery vessels at the East Coast, Doug and Go Cosmos, are waiting for their next assignment, while Bob is gearing up for the upcoming Starlink Group 10-18 launch from the East Coast that will take a northeast trajectory. Now, if you feel we are adding value to your viewing experience, please consider giving this stream a like. It's kind of a fuel for YouTube's algorithm rocket, bringing in more space lovers, helping rocket fans discover this stream out, and growing our community with amazing space enthusiasts like you. Well, the drone ship slide is still there. Now we are just 5 minutes away from the webcast to begin, so let's just quickly get done with the stats we have for you to share with. Today's launch marks the 502nd SpaceX's overall launch and the 55th dedicated Starlink launch of this year. This is going to be the 489th Falcon 9 launch to date. Third flight of this particular Falcon 9 booster supporting today's mission, with tail number 1093 being in action after 32 days. By that, I mean the booster's turnaround time is 32 days. Today's mission marks the 74th Falcon 9 launch and SpaceX's 77th overall launch of 2025, which includes 3 Starship flights this year. This will be the 430th Falcon booster reflight to date. That is the launch of a booster that has flown at least once before. 132nd orbital launch for SpaceX, launching from Space Launch Complex 4 East, and the 199th overall orbital launch from Slick 4 East. So just one less than to hit the 200th mark. And with the success of this mission, SpaceX will have a remarkable 8,997 Starlink satellites, including 674 dedicated direct-to-cell satellites launched to date. Now coming to some reusability statistics. This flight marks the 414th reflight of a Falcon 9 booster to date. 138th landing on, of course, I Still Love You drone ship supporting today's mission. Third landing of this first stage booster with tail number 1093. And with this mission's first stage landing, SpaceX will have their 373rd overall drone ship landing, marking 443rd Falcon 9 landing so far, and 462nd SpaceX's overall landing to date. Well, you might be guessing that why there is one number less in the Falcon 9 landing and the overall SpaceX landing, because we are not counting in the landing failure that happened this year. Now on your screen are some of the stats related to drone ship landings prior to today's mission. So please don't get confused with the number shown on your screen right now. These drone ship landing stats on your screen are excluding today's mission. These are prior to today's launch. Now we are just 2 minutes away from the webcast to begin. So let's have a look into some key stats for SpaceX launches, specifically this year, including today's mission. With today's mission, SpaceX will be having its 77th launch of this year, and out of those, 55 are Starlink missions, including this one. 19 were non-Starlink missions for commercial and government organizations, and 3 Starship launches. 70 of these missions using a reuse booster, including today's one as well. The geographical distribution provides us that the SpaceX is having 48 launches from East Coast. On the West Coast, they will be having 26 launches with today's mission. As of now, 3 launches from Gulf Coast at Starbase in Texas and 2 Super Heavy booster catches with Starship's 7th and 8th test flights. On Flight 9, no Super Heavy booster catch was attempted. For landings, they will be nailing it for the 72nd time this year. Most of the landings are on drone ship with 63 landings. And for this year, we will be having 22 landings on, of course, I Still Love You drone ship. For ground landings, they pulled off 9 of them. Currently, SpaceX is working to add a landings site at the East Coast in order to retain their return to launch site, also known as RTLS capabilities, as SpaceX's lease for landing zone 1 and 2 expires in July. Now, prior to today's launch, the success rate for ground landings is 98.89%. For drone ship landing, it is 96.88%, and the overall landing success rate is 97.26%. Today's mission is the 138th launch since last mission failure, that is the Starlink 9-3 mission. Now moving on to this year's orbital launches, including today's one. This one is the 132nd orbital launch of the year after United Launch Alliance's Atlas V rocket launch for Kuiper 2 mission got scrubbed earlier today. United States is leading with 86 launches. So while you check out this pie chart, let me see if the stream is rolling or not. Well, it is. It's live. That's nice, quite on time. So let's head over to the webcast, and please provide me a moment to set things up for you guys. SpaceX is now having some pre-launch tunes going on. I will patch the mission audio feed once it drops. No worries about that. Here at Astro Yonder, adding value to your viewing experience is our topmost priority. If you felt we somewhat achieved that, please consider liking this stream. It really helps others to find this stream. Also consider subscribing to our channel as we work hard to bring you stream packed with stats, details and insights. There we go. We have an awesome view out there at the sunset from the Vandenberg, and we did got the call out. The tanks are pressurizing for a strong back retract. Next process will be the retraction of the strong back away from the Falcon 9. It's T minus 4 minutes approximately. All systems are go for an on-time liftoff, and we did got the call out for a strong back retract process initiation, and we can see the strong back moving slowly away from the Falcon 9, and it will recline 13 degrees away from the Falcon 9, as this is a Vandenberg flight. While we are watching this live view of Falcon 9, a couple of important steps were completed. The spacecraft team switched to internal power a few minutes ago, and fueling of the Falcon 9 first stage is finished. That means the RP1, that is the rocket grade kerosene propellant, is now on board. We are still loading the liquid oxygen on both the first and second stages, and we'll be listening in a couple of minutes for the LOX load completion for both the stages. Meanwhile, would like to Ramirez, I'm not understanding about announcing the countdown. If you can elaborate about that, and would like to welcome Charles for tuning in and also for supporting us by subscribing to the channel. I hope you are doing well, Charles, and will be enjoying the stream, and hopefully we will be meeting your expectations. We did got the call out for stage 1 LOX load being complete. We are now waiting for the liquid oxygen loading for the second stage that will finish up just inside T minus 2 minutes mark. Now currently everything looks fine. The range continues to be green, and the weather, of course, you can see is cooperating with us. At least it's not foggy like other days, as it always happens in Vandenberg. Really, we are getting some awesome views. This view is spectacular at the sunset.
LOX load is complete.
And there we go. Stage 2 LOX load is complete. All the propellant are now on board the Falcon 9 with complete 1 million pounds of propellant. We are now beginning to vent down the pressure that was remaining in the tubing on the strong back. And we did got the call out for ground gas closeout, and here we bleed the extra pressure off, and that cold gas, when it reacts with the moist humid Pacific air, gives us this nice white cloud, which is an healthy indicator of launch coming up. Next event, T minus 1 minute, we should hear the call out that the Falcon 9 flight computers are in startup and controlling the rocket for the remainder of the countdown.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
Completely right on time. Falcon 9 flight computers on both the stages are running the rocket through the last minute of count. Now let's listen to the go call out.
Launch director, go for launch.
SpaceX launch director giving go for the launch. We are getting close to T minus 30 seconds.
T
-3 seconds.
Well, that's a huge loud call out. T minus 30 seconds. Well, meanwhile, would like to welcome Fairmaid after a long time. I was missing you, Fairmaid. Really, we were talking about you yesterday. I hope you are doing well.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. And liftoff of Falcon 9. Go SpaceX, go Starlink.
Vehicle is pitching downrange.
MOD chamber pressure is nominal.
With some supercharged callouts there from the Capcom and with amazing views right now as well. The tracking views of the Falcon 9. Falcon 9 had a successful liftoff, clearing the tower. We are T plus 38 seconds into the flight. And right now we are throttling down the 9 Merlin engines.
Power and telemetry nominal.
As we prepare for the period of maximum dynamic stress coming up. We got some healthy callouts, power and telemetry, as well as the propulsion is nominal.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
So there we go, we got the call out, vehicle being supersonic. That means the Falcon 9 exceeded Mach 1 on the Mach 1 and is faster than the speed of sound as we have gone supersonic.
Max Q.
There we go, max Q call out. So right now we are throttling up the Merlin engines back up to full power. The vehicle is through the period of maximum stress right now. Next, expecting the call out for, we did got the call out already, MVAC engine chill. So right now we have started to chill down the MVAC engine on the second stage prior to its ignition, just after stage separation. So we are again getting some tracking views right now. Coming up 3 events in rapid succession: the shutdown of main engine on first stage, that is main engine cutoff, also known as MECO, followed by stage separation and ignition of the second stage MVAC engine, also known as SES-1, that will boost the payload into low Earth orbit. So let's sit back while we are getting this amazing colorful views on our screen and wait for those call outs for the back-to-back events.
Stage separation confirmed.
I guess there was some kind of a desynchronization in the callouts, but we did got the call out for MECO, stage separation and MVAC ignition. Next, expecting the confirmation call out for fairing separation. There we go, we got the fairing separation successful, and I don't know for what reason we lost the view from the Falcon 9's first stage. Hopefully the vehicle is
Vehicles are following nominal trajectories.
Healthy, and yes, we did got the call out. And there we go, from the first stage view we can see those twilight effect. I guess really it's an awesome view. And right now on the first stage, I guess we are not getting the onboard view from the Falcon 9 first stage on the left hand side of our screen, but the hypersonic titanium 4 hypersonic titanium grid fins, guess they got deployed now that the stage separation is successful. Today we are getting some good tracking views out there for the Falcon 9s, which is quite rare for the Vandenberg flights. And to Ramirez, I hope you are getting these views in real, and we'll be really glad to see your work, as just now I'm seeing this on screen. It's making me to have chill. And meanwhile, Fairmaid, thanks for tuning in. Really was missing you yesterday. Me and with my girl was talking about you and Pop Tripika that from long we are not seeing you. That what if we did something that hurted your feelings? But thanks for tuning in, and I hope that everyone at your home is doing well. And thanks for telling the apology. Well, you are still remembering that. So right now, the Falcon 9's first stage will rise
Continue to follow nominal trajectories.
towards apogee, that is 119 kilometers, before descending back towards landing on drone ship. That is, of course, I Still Love You station in the Pacific Ocean. Second stage, meanwhile, in middle of its 6-minute burn, is on its way into the parking orbit. So far, the launch has been great. We are getting some awesome views from both the stages. Although today we are not getting the onboard view from the Falcon 9 first stage, we are getting the tracking view, ground tracking views from the for the Falcon 9's first stage, and we are getting good, awesome views from the second stage. As usual, I think the camera is having some issues on the Falcon 9's onboard camera on the first stage. Now, just a heads up, when we'll be hearing stage 1 FTS being saved, that indicates re-entry burn for stage 1 has been either initiated or accomplished, and hearing stage 2 FTS being saved means the second stage is up with the orbital insertion burn.
Has saved.
We did got the call out for stage 1 entry burn startup. There's a confirmation. We just lit 3 of those 9 Merlin 1D engines on the first stage. We are rapidly slowing down the vehicle, as you can see from the bottom left hand side of your screen from the telemetry, and this burn should last just around 24 seconds. And we got the confirmation of the shutdown of the entry burn on the first stage.
Both vehicles continue to follow nominal trajectories.
Well, this is quite a relief that we are getting these healthy callouts for both the vehicle, all as because we are not getting any onboard camera views from the Falcon 9's first stage. I guess only the camera got damaged or something. Next up, we will be hearing stage 2 FTS being saved, I guess. And also we are expecting the call out for stage 1 being transonic. That's a nice thin atmosphere we can see on the backdrop of the stage 2's onboard view.
Stage 1 transonic.
Stage 2 FTS has saved.
And there we go, back to back call out. Stage 1 being transonic, that means right now we are traveling slower than the speed of sound for the Falcon 9's first stage as it heads towards landing. We are less than 60 seconds away from that.
Stage 1 landing burn.
There we go, stage 1 landing burn. Today we are not getting that view where the center E9 engine being lit now.
Stage 2 has entered terminal guidance.
So there we go.
Deploy.
We are getting at least from the drone ship views there.
Stage 1 landing confirmed.
So that's a relief that the Falcon 9's first stage is completely healthy, at least it seems so, because we lost the camera view from that. So there we have the confirmation. We successfully made the 443rd landing of an orbital class Falcon 9 rocket. And we heard the call out for SECO 1. And following that event, second stage with the payload on board will enter into 45 minutes of course phase as vehicle ascends to its target orbit for the payload deployment. We did got the call out for nominal orbit insertion, and you can see on your screen there those jelly twilight effect still there on the atmosphere. It's quite nice. Ramirez, really I will be looking forward to see your work on X. Please do connect with us. And there These were the callouts we were waiting for. Stage 2 engine cutoff, SECO 1, as well as the confirmation of a good nominal orbit. Meanwhile, would like to thank Ramirez, Curtis Charles, Fairmaid, one of our moderator, joining us after a long time. And also would like to welcome and thanks the bread guy for joining us. And what about the satellite exploded and landing? I'm scared. I'm really not understanding, but please do tell me more about that. We'll be glad to hear from you. So with that, we will be wrapping up our stream. Today's launch marks SpaceX's 502nd successful mission, with landing marking their 462nd success. And this one was the 274th dedicated Starlink mission to date. Now, before wrapping up, I want to thank all of you for wherever you are watching our launch live coverage. It is really impossible to do this broadcast without you and your encouragement. So thank you for your continued support for what we do here at Astro Yonder. Please be sure to check out the upcoming Axiom 4 mission launch coverages. The streams are already posted on the channel and is waiting for your visit. Also check out our social media handle on X for the latest happenings in the space industry and updates on upcoming launches. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Once again, thanks everyone for tuning in. We really appreciate everyone joining us for today's launch. Wishing you a nice week ahead. This is Astro Yonder Live and me, Dipto, sign off for now, and we will see you soon.